Stewards Cup is race number 7. It's the first leg of the Triple Crown Group 1 contest over the 1,600 metres. Beauty Generation, saddlecloth number 1, and that's the position he's filled on 4 starts so far this season. Number 1, unbeaten in 4. Pakistan Star 6th in the Vase, takes a drop from the 1.5 miles. Beauty Only was 4th behind Beauty Generation on international race. Southern Legend 3rd in that race, has run since. Northern Superstar coming out of that run at Happy Valley in the January Cup down the field there. And Conti won his last 2. He's won 7 of 9 overall. He steps into group company for the first time. So a small but select field. At the start of the show, I said we had both defending champions back. We haven't. Seasons Bloom isn't here. I don't know why I said that, but DB Pin is back to defend his crown in the sprint. In this one, though, Brett, as far as tactics are concerned, well, Beauty Generation, doesn't really matter where he draws and what they do, he just makes his own race, his own luck.
I think barrier 5's actually quite a positive too. Zach Purton will be just thinking, when we come out of the gates, we can just stay out here if we have to, see what's happening down below, where we're matching up against horses like Southern Legend, who potentially will go forward with blinkers on, or at least attempt to, Conti. So if they want to kick up, he can just sit there and really assess it. We've seen once before, he actually went forward and then he went back to here and then he took off down the side and took over again. So, as you say, the tactics of the race, what the opposition want to do early, won't really bother him. I get the feeling Conti, Joe Moreira, will want to try and potentially maybe try and hold the front and get him into rhythm and let Beauty Generation sit outside of him, because I think if Conti has ground to find on Beauty Generation in the stretch, it's going to be a big ask when you consider the ratings. Having said that, Conti is a horse that, in all likelihood down the track, potentially will be a top liner here, but whether this comes a little bit early, we'll have to wait and see, but he's there.
Certainly is. Again, Paul, being a Group 1 race, we've got Group 1 track work to look at.
We have, and we'll start with the Beauty Generation. He's the first one we're going to have a look at here. You can see him doing it nice and easy down the back straight. He's trialled well since. We got a peek of that trial earlier on, and he's doing everything right. I think, and Zach's been reported in the media saying that it's scary how well he's going. This horse is good. Well, we know this horse, Pakistan Star, very well, don't we? And look, he's going well. His track work's good. He's been trialling nicely, and he's doing everything right. So, you know, on this day, he's definitely got the ability to test Beauty Generation. There's no question. And here's Conti, just working with Waikuku, who's obviously going to start a short price favourite in the last. Conti's the orange saddlecloth, and he's just under a big hold, the big boy. He's a big horse.
He certainly is. All right, we'll start with him, or stay with him in actual fact, Conti. And jockey, Joe Moreira.
Conti, Joe, he just seems to keep on improving. Is there more to come from him up against Beauty Generation on Sunday?
I've got no doubts about there is more to come from him. He's been doing everything straightforward. He's done nothing wrong, and every time I sit on top of this horse, he gives me that extra confidence. So, yeah, I'm quite confident about the horse himself, that he's going to deliver his best. It is his toughest test, but I think he's capable. I think he's up to it, and it is a very interesting race because I believe we got chances.
How good do you think Beauty Generation is?
I think he's very good. I think what he's done so far, it's eye-catching, but I gotta have faith on my bloke. He's been doing things amazingly, and he's one of those up-and-coming type of horse for sure.
So could you beat him?
Of course, I have faith on that. The way how he's been doing his races, as I said, he gives us that confidence that he's one of the best horses in town.
Just looking at that last win too, Jay, when you hit the front, you still didn't beat them by much in that race. Is he the type of horse that just does what he has to?
Yes, I believe so. He hasn't won like by big margins, but he has been doing more than enough to beat them all and leaving good impressions. So, yes, I believe he's a type of horse that just do enough to get himself in front. Pretty much knows where is the finishing line, and he just get there. He's been doing that, so that's why I'm saying I'm quite confident.
Very happy Joe Moreira there. Interesting new form angles coming into it, but if Beauty Generation runs his race and Conti beats him, wow.
Well, that's right. Exactly. What does it mean for Conti? Look, he's run 120.7 or 120.85 there. Track record's 120.4 for 1,400, so he's run an enormous race there. He's carried 117. He's got to go up to set weights here against a horse that's 21 points ahead of him in the handicap. He's definitely a horse that's going to go a lot higher. Can he sort of run all those sectionals at a mile like Beauty Generation can? We'll have to wait and see. 1,400 metres, as I just said, looking at the times, he suggested that he's not far away from the top level. We'll see what happens on Sunday at the mile. But I think he will give him a run, but in the end, I think class will probably prevail.
Yeah, I think Beauty Generation will have to run below par for Conti to beat him at this stage of their careers.
All right, he had one start over the mile, Conti, he won it.
It's worth mentioning, Andrew, we had our victory in a similar situation in a sprint race last year, and he got the money.
This is true. This is very true. Well, this is the Mile International Day. This is Beauty Generation out in front. Southern Legend finished in third place, and Beauty Only. Can't discount him. He'll get back, but he always finishes strongly. Yeah,
the old-timer, the 8-year-old who's had a wonderful career. I'm sure he will run on nicely. Southern Legend, we've heard Casper Founds mention in the press during the week that he's going to tweak the gear a little bit, put the blinkers on, see if he can get him a little bit closer. The other thing worth mentioning is that Beauty Generation was set for this race, which he absolutely dominated, and it was, you know, one of the most memorable races wins I've seen in the mile since I've been here. Can he hold that form going down another month or 6 weeks down the track and keep it going? From what we hear in the mornings and so forth in the trial track, probably yes. So he's clearly the horse to beat.
Yeah, looks. I think he'll win. So yeah, the way he's going.
He was beaten in this race last year. He wasn't just beaten as well. He finished midfield. But I think we can all probably agree he's a different horse this year.
Yeah, he is. But as you say, he's had 5 runs at Group 1 level, 4 wins, and the only other time he was beaten was last year. You know, he's not necessarily going to run to what we just saw there. He might run higher than that, but he could potentially run lower than that too.
This is Southern Legend and Northern Superstar, probably both of them a little bit below par at Happy Valley last time.
Yeah, I just wonder if Northern Superstar needs a little bit further than this 1,600 metres. Southern Legend, they're putting the blinkers on to sharpen him up, but he's been well beaten by Beauty Generation already this season. Yeah,
I was disappointed with this run here. I read Casper Founds thought the run was OK. They're obviously thinking about Dubai and possible turf and dirt races over there. It was OK looking at it again, yeah. And I think he's better suited coming back to Sha Tin. And the blinkers on, we saw him defeat Nothing I Like More one day when he was up on the pace. So no doubt the connections and jockeys will be out there trying to do what they can to get closer to Beauty Generation. And whether it ruffles his feathers, we'll have to wait and see.
All right, the trials here. Pakistan Star is familiar. Green and white colours, and Northern Superstar again. This is him back in work.
Well, his run I was a bit disappointed with at the Valley, Paul.
Yeah, it was. I don't know if he's totally suited by the Valley. That was over 1,800 metres, and I thought he was looking for longer. He's dropping back to 1,600 metres here. Pakistan Star, on his day, could give Beauty Generation a fright, but it's whether he turns up on the day.
It is. We know he can run a 21.5, 21.3 final 400. If he can reel one of those off at the back of a testing mile, then he'll probably run straight past Beauty Generation. It's possible. But prior to the last race, which of course was the Vars, Tony Cruz was saying, he's looking for the 1.5 miles now, and after this we'll potentially go to Dubai and he'll be competitive there. And now all of a sudden they're going back to the mile. I think his recent form suggests they're clutching at straws a little bit, and he's not quite at his best.
All right, Beauty Generation, Paul?
Yep, Beauty Generation, I think, clearly on top and can win the race easy. Pakistan Star, there's that X factor with him. Be interesting to see if he does tune up. Conti's the young horse coming through, and as Joe Moreira said, he's done absolutely nothing wrong. I think those three are clear of everything else. I put Southern Legend in for 4th, but I'm happy to take the Quinella 1 and 2 because I think we might get a reasonable price. 4.3 doesn't look too bad at this stage.
I'd love to see him bounce back to his best, Pakistan Star. I am one of his biggest fans, no doubt. But for me, he's probably not going as well this prep. Beauty Generation, impossible to tip against him. I think Conti will give him a race for some stage of the stretch. Southern Legend and Pakistan Star I've got in for 3rd and 4th. But, you know, the 6 and 2 potentially are the sort of X factors in the race that could roll the big boy, but hard to see it happening.
It certainly is, yeah. Beauty Generation wins again for me. The Stewards Cup first leg of the Triple Crown. Those are the 2 big Group 1s out of the way. There's still some good racing coming up, though. Back with the 8th right after this.